Hello friends, and welcome back to Swift Lessons for another mini jazz guitar tutorial. In today's session, I'd like to talk to you about the power of arpeggios and how I can use them to create licks and melodies that will fit over even the most complex chord progressions. So let's say I'm playing in the key of C, and I have a chord progression like C major 7, going up to C sharp diminished, a great passing chord to get to D minor 9, and G dominant 7. So, to play over top of these chords, I can find the beginnings of a solo using these very basic movable arpeggio patterns. The major 7 arpeggio, the full diminished arpeggio, the minor 9 arpeggio, and the dominant 7 arpeggio. Okay, now, putting those arpeggios to work, we can come up with this very useful practice routine. First, playing through the chords. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, here we go, and let's break that down. Okay, taking a closer look at those techniques, first getting started with the chord progression. The first chord we have is the C major 7 chord. A beautiful shape. I'm barring the 3rd fret, A string to the high E string, keeping my thumb nice and low so that way my index finger is nice and straight. I also have the 5th fret of the D string, the 4th fret of the G, and the 5th fret of the B string, strumming from the A string down. C major 7. Alright, then we have the passing chord, C sharp diminished 7. Also called a full diminished chord. I've got the root note, the 4th fret of the A string, C sharp. I also have this interval that is often called the devil's interval or the tritone. Really, it's a flatted 5th. It's going to be the 5th fret of the D string, a G note. We also have the 3rd fret of the G string and the 5th fret of the B string. C sharp diminished 7. Alright, then the 2 chord, D minor 9. Okay, so now it's a bit of a stretch. I've got the 5th fret of the A string, the index finger on the 3rd fret of the D string, and I also have the 5th fret of the G string and 5th fret B, D minor 9. And then finally the 5 chord in this key, G dominant 7. Alright, now I'm going to thumb it. I've got my thumb on the 3rd fret of the low E string. Then I'm setting up this little shape right here. I've got the D string 3rd fret. I've got the G string 4th fret. And my middle finger's here on the 3rd fret of the B string. The A string is blocked, and so is the high E string, which is great if you're gonna kind of comp these chords. Okay, that's 4 chords to learn. C major 7, C sharp diminished 7, D minor 9, and G dominant 7. Okay, now that you have those chords down, we're gonna learn the arpeggios that you can play over top of them. Okay, now jumping into section 2 of this lesson, learning an arpeggio for each chord in the progression. Now to help you through your week of practice, I have a full PDF study guide at patreon.com/swiftlessons. I'll put the link in the description. But for ease of learning, I'm going to put the tabs up on the screen as well. Okay, breaking down this first arpeggio, a C major 7 arpeggio. Looks and sounds like this. Okay, all of those notes coming out of the C major scale. Alright, one more time. Okay, so that is C, the 3rd fret of the A string. Then go into E on the 2nd fret of the D string. Stretching up to G on the 5th fret. Then grabbing the major 7, the 4th fret of the G string, a B note, before descending back down the arpeggio. Okay, put that together and we have a C major 7 arpeggio. Okay, next we have the C sharp diminished 7 arpeggio, also called a full diminished arpeggio. Okay, here we're targeting the root note, the minor third, the flat or diminished fifth, and then we're going to have the double flat 7, or the diminished 7. It's actually the 6th note of the scale, but in music theory lingo we're calling it a double flat 7. Okay, so one more time. Okay, so that's going to be the 4th fret of the A string, C sharp, going to E, 2nd fret of the D string, moving on up to the G note on the 5th fret, and then middle finger going to the 3rd fret of the G string. Okay, that B flat note. Put that together and we have the perfect set of notes for playing over top of this diminished chord. And then you're just going to descend down. Okay, putting arpeggios 1 and 2 together should sound like this. Okay, next we have a minor 9 arpeggio in the key of D. Okay, so here we're targeting the root, minor third, the 5th, the dominant 7, and the 9, before descending back down. Okay, so that's 5th fret of the A string, 3rd fret of the D, 2nd fret G, and then we're going up to the 5th fret G string, and same finger, pinky, going to the 5th fret B string, before going back down, the arpeggio. Okay, now you have 3 arpeggios to practice. C major 7, C sharp diminished, and D minor 9. Okay, now moving on to the 5 chord, G dominant 7. Okay, very simple here. We're just kind of outlining the major triad. So 5 on the D, the 4th fret G string, the 3rd fret B, and then grabbing the dominant 7 of this key, 6th fret of the B string, before descending back down again. All right, so this is every single dominant 7 arpeggio in the book. You can just move it fret to fret. In fact, all of these arpeggios are movable. Okay, so let's practice those arpeggios, then we're going to put them to work. We're going to embellish them to create a nice little solo. So, C major 7, C sharp diminished, D minor 9, G dominant 7. One more time. Okay, very good. If you can play that, then you're ready to embellish these arpeggios for our complete practice routine. Okay, very good everybody. Thus far you've learned some very useful chords, the C major 7, the C sharp diminished, the D minor 9, and the G dominant 7. Essential jazz chords. You've also learned arpeggios for each of those chords, and now we're going to take them and embellish them, learn to tie them together with a swing and rhythm for a full practice routine. Once again, it's going to look and sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so breaking down lick number 1 over the C major 7 chord. Again, it looks and sounds like this. Just a nice little run for the C chord. Okay, so we're sliding up to the root note, 3rd fret of the A string, C. Then, just like the arpeggio, grabbing the major 3rd, the 5th, and the major 7th. Now I'm on the 4th fret of the G string, where I'm going to pull off down the 2. So far you have. Alright, then back to the 5th fret of the D string, 2nd fret D, and then returning to the root note, 3rd fret to end the lick, and start a hammer-on up to the C sharp for the next lick. Okay, put all that together and we have. All right, now, lick number 2 over C sharp diminished is going to sound like this. All right, and it is also going to end with a hammer-on going up to the lick for D minor 9. So one more time. And then hammer on up to D minor 9. Okay, so basically we have the 4th fret of the A string, then we're going to grab the 2nd fret of the D string, head up to 5, and then 3rd fret of the G string, pulling off down to 2, before descending back down. 5th fret D, 2nd fret, and then the 4th fret of the A string, where you're going to start the hammer-on with the pinky for D minor 9. Okay, put that lick together and we have. Okay, now that you have your pinky on that 5th fret of the A string, you're ready to start the lick for D minor 9. Okay, so once again, it sounds like this coming out of that hammer-on. And you're going to use it to transition to the G dominant 7 with a little slide there. Okay, so one more time. Okay, so we started with that hammer-on to go from the C sharp diminished up to that D minor 9. So 4th fret A, up to the 5th fret. Okay, ring finger to pinky. Then grabbing the minor 3rd, 3rd fret of the D string, 2nd fret of the G, and then 5th frets of the G string and the B string with the pinky. So far you have. Keeping my pick kind of alternating, but when I can, I will just kind of drop the pick down through the strings. For example, right there, my pick is just going down, 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 up, down. I find that to be an important motion. All right, then back the way we came, the 5th fret G, down to the 2nd fret. And now a very important jazz technique, playing the note that is a half step down from the root note of the next chord. You also hear that all the time in walking bass lines. Okay, so far you have. All right, now I'm on the 4th fret of the D string, sliding myself up into the G dominant 7 arpeggio. Okay, where I'm gonna get really jazzy with it. Okay, so we slid up to the 5th fret of the D string, the root note of the G dominant 7 chord. All right, then we're grabbing the 4th fret G, 3rd fret B, reaching for the dominant 7, 6th fret of the B string, and then we're gonna do something that you hear in a lot of really, really cool jazz licks. We're going to play the upper neighbor of the root note, also called a minor 2nd. That's the 4th fret of the high E string. It adds a lot of tension, which we then release by going back down to the root. So far you have. All right, from there, back to the dominant 7, 6th fret of the B string, down to the 3rd fret, and then sliding up to the 5th fret of the B string, just as the C major 7 chord would come back in. So that lick one more time. We can do a pull off here. Okay, so playing over top of that progression, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, we'd have. Okay, so practice that nice and slow, get it into your muscle memory. Remember, it's never a bad idea to practice along with a metronome. That way, you're sure that you're playing in time. That's also going to give you a really good tool for gauging your progress as you work toward playing at faster tempos. The other thing that I would like for you to do, and this is really important, is to make sure that you're memorizing the names of the notes and also the intervals as you practice through each of these arpeggios and licks. So that's your practice for today. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. And real quick, I want to thank my patrons for making all these lessons possible. Thanks so much for the support. Thanks to you guys. I got many more lessons coming up, so keep checking in. Please subscribe, please share. This is Rob at Swift Guitar Lessons in Philadelphia, saying happy picking.